No, I'm not outside. I'm inside for this weekend video edition of Morning Manna. So I'm sitting here in my home, and my wife has been out of town for the last week. They're having a wonderful time together, the three sisters traveling around. And so I've been batching it. And I just finished an amazing experience. For those of you that don't know, this shirt says, "Come change the world with me with Church Online." So I do some wonderful volunteer service with not. It's not wonderful because I do it. It's wonderful because volunteering is wonderful. Serving Life Church's Church Online division, and we just finished a live YouTube stream of an amazing message. Let me encourage you. If you've not seen this message, just go to live.life.church and see if you can find. There are 79 different broadcast experiences, including the one that we just did on YouTube Live. And for those of you who might be interested, every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, myself, Stephen Roberts, who's part of the online church staff there in Oklahoma, we run the chat host team for this live experience. So we'd love to have you drop in anytime. So if you just go to YouTube and do a search for Life Church, you'll find their channel, click the subscribe button, click the little bell for notifications, and you'll get notified when we're live next week. It's a fantastic opportunity. But I just wanted to talk with you from my home and just share with you some things. I've had an amazing week. And so what I want to talk to you today is about the call center, or maybe we could call it the centricity of calling. And so for those of you who may or may not know, I have had the joy of being a part of Christian Care Ministry for the last 13 years and recently retired. But I'm stepping back in to help out with the project. They're actually outsourcing to a call center here in Lynchburg, Virginia, where I live. And so they asked me if I would be interested in coming on board and helping with this project for a couple of months. And so I said, sure, I'd be glad to do that. And the greatest thing about that, if you've listened to some of my more recent episodes this past week, the best part about that has been making relationships with new people, and it's just been an amazing thing. And so I've spent 3 days there, spent several hours there yesterday doing some IT work with our amazing IT team who flew up from Melbourne, Florida. But as I walk around that building and I see these 48, actually 70 cubicles that are just ready, and we've prepared for people who are going to sit in those cubicles, and they're going to be taking inbound calls from people who are calling about Christian Care Ministry, and in particular our healthcare sharing program called MediShare. They're going to be answering questions and educating people about that. And it got me thinking about the whole aspect of calls. All different types of calls. I felt like that when I was 9 years old and I heard the gospel message, God called me to himself and I responded. I think about when I was in the Navy back in the early 70s, that God called me to be a minister of the gospel, to be a preacher, to be a pastor. And so there are a lot of calls that God gives in our life. God may call you to serve in some other area. But the other aspect of the call that I really want to focus on today is our calling out to God. And that's what I really want to encourage you today, to call on the Lord. And I want to share some passages of scriptures for you. I've got those right below my camera here. Got my little Chromebook here, and so you'll see me look down every once in a while at my notes. But I want to share with you some encouraging verses. And I want to encourage you that no matter what you're going through today, no matter what you need today, that you call on the Lord. So here we go. Are you ready? Number one, Psalm 145 and verse 18. The Lord is near to all who call upon him, to all who call upon him in truth. Now, isn't that encouraging? The Lord is near to all who call upon him. Sometimes in our walk it seems like maybe there's a distance between us and the Lord. But when you call on him, he is near, just like that. Draw nigh unto me, and I will draw nigh unto you. He gives that promise in James. Psalm 55 and verse 16 says, as for me, I will call upon the Lord, and the Lord shall save me. What do you need saving from today? Call upon the Lord, and he'll save you. Psalm chapter 86 and verse 7 says, in the day of my trouble, I will call upon you, for you will answer me. Got any trouble today? In the day of my trouble, I will call upon you. What trouble do you have today? Call upon the Lord. He will answer. That's his promise. 2 Samuel chapter 22 verse 4, Samuel said, I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised, so shall I be saved from my enemies. Calling upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised, so shall I be saved from my enemies. Got any enemies? Well, the Bible has a lot to say about our enemies. We're supposed to love them. We're supposed to pray for them. But God, when you call upon him, he can save you. He can deliver you from your enemies. 1 Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 8 says, oh, give thanks to the Lord, and call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people. What are you grateful for today? Call upon the Lord. Tell him about what you're thankful for today. Make his deeds known among the people. Tell everybody and anybody about how good God has been to you. Isaiah 55 and verse 6 says, seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. I think this is interesting. When you call upon the Lord, he's near, but then call upon him while he's near. That's interesting. It's just so important. If you want to know more about the nearness of God, then call upon him. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 24 says, he who calls you is faithful, who also will do it. The God who calls you is faithful, and he will do what he has said he will do. Then finally, one last verse, and I think this is a great verse to close out to. Romans chapter 10 and verse 13. For whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Have you ever called on the name of the Lord for salvation? If not, if you call upon him, he'll save you. He'll give you eternal life. It's a free gift. So my encouragement this weekend is call upon the Lord. He loves you. He's anxious to hear from you. Till next week, this is Bruce reminding you to choose joy.